I want to stay with golf here, not because I want to talk about Lexi Thompson, though I do, and not because I want to talk about Scheffler getting off, which I also do.
On the charges.
Yes, thank you, Stugotz.
Correction year.
An important
You did just have a child.
correction year or erection year.
He had stiff person syndrome.
But before I do that, I don't want to leave just yet how it is that Greg Cote managed to wander around with a glove that he was wearing incorrectly without realizing that he was wearing it incorrectly. How long did it take you? You seem genuinely embarrassed by this.
I am, because it made me worry about myself. I'm like, did I just have a small stroke?
Kind of like right there.
Right.
It was
Yes,
funny for me for
exactly.
1 second, and then I was like, are you okay?
You were concerned.
I'm telling you, maybe if you don't golf a lot, this does like, you know what hand your golf glove goes on. And he came up to me on the fourth hole just with this innocent.
4 holes
I'm telling
in?
you, on the
No, I
fourth
thought
hole.
it was the third hole,
It was a
whatever.
legitimate. Man, he goes to me, I'm going gloveless today because this just feels weird on my hand. And I turn my body and I'm like, that's your right. I'm like, it's on the wrong hand. And then he
could
pulls
happen
it
to
off,
anyone.
and as he's putting it on, like he's like, oh man, this is much better. And I'm just like,
Fit beautifully.
Where were you on
Just
that
like a
hole?
glove.
Maybe you were supposed to be, having a small stroke. If you were like near the green.
No, we were at the tee box on the third or
okay.
fourth hole.
it was scary.
Here's the thing, Greg. Put up your right hand. All right, now put up your left hand. And now turn your left hand this way. No, just your left hand.
Just your left.
And
Greg.
put your right hand back up how it was. See? The thumb's on the same side. So is the
you.
index
Yeah,
finger,
but
the
Billy-
middle finger, the ring, and the pink. It
No,
could happen to anyone.
No.
Hands
Billy,
are tricky.
Billy,
They are
his
tricky.
thumb was in the pinky hole, and his pinky was in the thumb hole.
Yeah.
I
And I was trying to make it fit.
and being
that was the worst
perplexed.
thing.
That's the scariest part. Is because you'd think he would have in his brain, oh, shit, it's the wrong. Like, but he comes up to me with just this innocence of like, what's happened? Why is this not feeling right? And I'm like,
The glove don't fit, you know?
am I being
Yeah.
punked? Where's Ashton?
Golf strokes. That was very clever.
What
Thank
I
you.
will say to you, Chris, is just like I'm viewing South Florida's heat wave unprecedented and saying this is as good as it's going to get. It's going to keep getting worse.
It's 126 degrees in India.
Your life right now with your father, this is the best it's going to be. It's going to keep getting worse. There are going to be more things like this glove incident where you're like, how does this age? This is how it ages. I mean, it is. It's like
And it's how you'll age. I mean,
you are someone who doesn't care about learning. You've given up on the idea of I'm going to be formed and I'm good with who I am at this point. So if you're reluctant and stubborn about these things, you're not going to do the things necessary to make that all stop happening. It's just going to keep happening worse and more.
It made me assess myself. I'm like, I'm going to turn into him. Like, I was literally in a cart with Taylor. Like, I need to start reading more. I got to stop smoking weed. Like, I am just like, I
Changed
can't.
everything, huh?
I was just like, I had a moment of like, I'm going to turn into that. So I need to like be proactive.
But imagine being poor Greg. He just wants to go. He wants to have a round of golf with his boy, his brother, and, a coworker, a mentee, if you will, and Taylor, right? And you have the son here. He makes simple requests. Hey, don't say par. Just give me the number on the scorecard. His son intentionally trying to confuse him the entire day, not saying if it's a 3, a 4, or 5, just saying par, bogey, all of that. Intentionally trying to confuse him. You have Taylor taking notes on everything that he does. You have Chris trying to correct everything that he says. I mean, how's a man supposed to relax? Who can blame him for putting a glove on the wrong hand?
Yeah, Billy gets me. I tell you.
Greg, have you discovered, like in your, I wouldn't say old age, but past middle age, that you've now turned into your parents? And do you feel like it was at some point inevitable that you would?
No. I would say they were both better than me in terms of not doing things like that. My dad never golfed. My dad, like LeBatard,
Wild Bill?
wouldn't know what end of the golf club to pick up.
But like in terms of like some mannerisms,
Get his ass.
I feel like I find myself every day becoming more like my parents.
Same.
And I find my boyfriend starting to turn into his dad a little bit. Like he goes fishing and he wears these disgusting shoes. Yeah. And I'm like, that's something your dad would do.
Jessica,
34-year-old man.
My wife, you have to see these things for yourself to truly be mortified by them. Sometimes a loved one can point them out to you, but in order to change some things, you have to see them yourselves, or some of us will be so stubborn that we will not actually make the change. The number of times that I have been looking at my wife with something I'm doing, and the mirror that she's holding up to me is my father because I'm behaving like him and didn't realize I was behaving like him, I get mortified by the way that those things have managed to make their way into my tapestry without me realizing
Chris,
it.
and I kind of see it with you and Greg. And
my humor, I make jokes, and I'm like, who am I?
Right, exactly.
You're Greg.
I started drinking the same coffee order as my mom every day growing up. She had a doppio espresso macchiato, and if they put milk instead of foam, she'd get upset and she'd be like, there's too much milk in this cup, it's too heavy. I wanted foam, I didn't want milk. And now I'm drinking espresso macchiatos, and if they put too much milk in, I say, I just wanted the espresso shots and the foam. And I look at myself sometimes and I ask myself, who have I become?
Anytime I get a bill at a restaurant, I say, what, did we break a window? And then I punch myself in the face.
You say that too?
That's a classic. I will say this, Jess,
Thank you for saying it.
I didn't answer your question correctly because what came out on the golf course, which was entirely 100% accurate,
Was surly Wild Bill Cote?
My dad was very irritable. He had a lot of things that really upset him, little tiny stuff, barking dogs, clinking ice in a glass.
You hate that.
Refrigerator
You've
doors
hated me
left
eating
open.
ice my entire life.
Okay, and I inherited that from my father. I tend to be overly irritable at stuff that doesn't matter, that's just little tiny minutia. And that's,
Not to bring it back to a past topic, but imagine the person that named it irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah.
As if the
IBS.
bowels have feelings.
Right.
That's silly.
That's a good point.
Thank you, Greg.
Irritable
Greg
Greg
gets me.
syndrome, it sounds like.
Irritable Greg
That's what
syndrome.
all the Codys get.
IGS.
I like that. I should have a syndrome named
You
after me,
should.
to be
What would you?
honest
What
with
would you choose?
I don't know. I would have chosen stiff person syndrome, but it was already taken.
Right.
That wouldn't be named after you.
Well, if he was stiff, it would.
Yeah, I gotta know.
Erection year. Scheffler has gotten off on the charges.
Yes, he has.
What are the details that we need to know? Is the police officer in any trouble whatsoever?
Well, the police officer was in trouble for originally not having the camera on, the body camera.
Well, but he didn't get. He has a history of like doing donuts in the police car with a drunk passenger. There's
He's
some
the cop from Superbad.
Not
apparently.
Scottie Scheffler, to be
No.
clear.
I thought you were talking about Scheffler for a
Yeah,
second.
no.
It's one of the perks of being a cop, though. You could do those things.
Well, debatable.
You can't.
Superbad?
It's why he got into trouble for it, and why it is that it's
Well, he
being
shouldn't have.
reported that he has a past that suggests that he's not the most responsible
As
police
part
officers.
as part of the charges being dropped, both sides have agreed not to have legal action taken against the other. So it would appear, on the outside looking in, not a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer, that maybe there was some fault on the other side there, if you're agreeing that you can't be sued.
Well, I think Scheffler just wants it to go away. I think Scheffler didn't like the attention of all that. But from what we did see from Darlington and other camera angles, it didn't seem like Scheffler, even though it's not allowed to drive into an active crime scene where you're investigating someone's death, it didn't seem like Scheffler, from any angle that we got, was disrespectful or kept the car moving much longer beyond the policeman's admonishment. Most people, I think, I haven't heard another opinion on this, most people see that situation and say that Scheffler shouldn't have been treated that way, not because he's the number one golfer in the world, just like because it seemed like an overreaction from the police officer who was indeed trying to protect what could have been an investigative scene. You're not allowed to drive through where they're investigating someone dying. That's not something anyone's allowed to do, not the number one golfer in the world or not anyone else. But I think most reasonable people thought the police officer was overly unnecessarily aggressive there.
It could be, but at the same time, they did. Now, they obviously didn't prosecute the case, but he originally was charged with a felony. You know, when you injure a police officer, it's a felony, and normally the cops take that pretty seriously. But the lack of a body cam, I think, really made this case
Well, no one was
disintegrate.
injured, though. There was no injury.
The cop was taken to the hospital.
The cop was injured. Yeah.
But there was a differing account from Jeff Darlington and the other witnesses as to how he was injured. And that, I think, is why none of this really adds up to the police officer's account of what happened, because there were eyewitnesses. And Scottie Scheffler also said that he never did the things that were alleged to have happened. So, I mean, your opinion of the police weighs a lot into which side you're automatically giving credit and credence to.
Correct me if I'm incorrect, though. I don't hear a whole lot of people defending the police officer in this instance. I don't see. We can argue about anything, especially when it comes to the politicization of police reform. We can argue about. But the specifics of this incident, I just don't see or hear a whole lot of people saying, yeah, that seems like the way to police.
Well, once I heard he didn't have his body cam on, and then I read some of the background about this cop, not a pristine cop, has a little bit of a record, negative record, then you're thinking to yourself, no way they're going to prosecute this case. So it's not a surprise that they dropped it.
Let's be honest. The only one who had the right to do what he did was Scottie Scheffler. He had to get to the PGA Championship. I mean...
The right to do what he did.
I mean, listen, he's got to play golf. I mean, it's a major.
Understood, but when I saw the video I saw, though, I imagined Scottie Scheffler dragging a police officer who was holding on to his window for 20 or 30 yards. Like, that's what I imagined when the arrest happened, that he was being arrogant or defiant or entitled. But the video doesn't. The video I saw, maybe you guys have other video you've seen, doesn't support a policeman who's been wronged.
Well, he was taken to the hospital. Now, I'm not saying it was justified, and I'm not saying he didn't have a part in his own injury, but it was a cop taken to a hospital, and they were talking about a felony charge. So until the body cam, lack of a body cam happened, you're thinking, all right, what if they prosecute this case? Then what?
I genuinely wonder if Scheffler were more vindictive. If this had happened to Greg Cote and he were the #1 golfer in the world, this wouldn't have been dropped. It wouldn't just go away because Scheffler doesn't want this in his life. You would be vindictive about making sure you got public justice if you feel like you had been thrown in jail before a tournament because you wanted to get to be the #1 golfer in the world. The two people I'm sitting with, the mess they would make of our legal system in the aftermath of being wronged just for the publicity of showing everyone they'd be wronged. I think this police officer skated with Scheffler being kind about things and telling his lawyers, no matter, like, I legitimately think here that this was so overblown that a lot of people could be less graceful about this than Scheffler's
Well,
been.
what do you want him to do? Like, the charges ended up being dropped. The videos come out siding with him. Audio has come out that seemingly also sides with him. Like, what else? What else is he going to do?
I think people would expect a lawsuit, Billy.
Put
from
Stugotz
Scottie
and Greg
Scheffler.
in that position. You think
There would
they're
be a lawsuit.
You think they're just dropping it?
Well, here's the thing. I'm the kind of guy who sweet talks a cop out of a traffic ticket. Okay,
Right.
I've done it on multiple occasions. I know just what to say.
How do you do it? Pretend I pulled you over.
Let's do this. Let's
Pulled you over.
let's
Greg,
do it. Role playing. Let's do this.
Greg, I'm going to have to see your license and registration, please.
Yes, you certainly may, officer. Here they are. And I have to tell you, I apologize in advance. I didn't realize it, but as soon as I saw the blue lights, I looked and saw that I was going 5, 7, 10, maybe 10 miles over the
43
limit.
miles over.
I really apologize. And you were doing your job. I'm sorry. And that kind of thing actually has gotten me out of multiple tickets.
That's it?
Really?
Two Americas.
That's a sweet talk.
That's all you do?
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
My bad. I thought we were on live for a second.
Can I sue the cop
For doing that to Scheffler?
for doing that to Scheffler?
And ruining
Can
your
I?
bet?
Because I had a 5% play on him to finish top 5. I had a 5% play.
We
on,
should try to do it as a show. Sue him as a show.
Yeah.
He shot a 66 after he was released from prison.
But then he
I
fell
mean,
apart. Once it, like,
yeah,
as he was in
round,
the moment.
He
third round
said that
he
that
did,
was
yes,
why. He said, like,
yes.
it'll hit him the next day.
Jail, not prison.
Sorry.
You have heard me lament on this show something that I feel feels un-American, which is there are many places all over the place where I cannot use my hard-earned American cash. It will not be taken by places that will accept it in a tip jar, but won't accept it because they're card only on transactions. I want to ask a follow-up question to the group because I don't know how you handle this. What is your relationship at this point in your life, given all of the inflation going on in the world, with coins? If many of you are not dealing with cash in general, because anytime I ask any of you if you have cash, the answer is always no. What are you doing with coins when they come into your life?
I'm keeping them because, Dan, I am telling you right now, if you hold on to the right coins for long enough, eventually those coins will become very, very valuable. It's like the $2 bill.
So where do you put them? Where do you keep your coins?
The $2 bill also is valued at $2.
No, there are certain $2 bills. If you check the serial number, I'm telling you, it could be worth up to like $5,000.
Okay, not true of coins, though, and weird that you would be looking to parlay coins into the lottery.
No,
that's not the answer I was expecting.
There's a Trump coin that's it's gonna be a pretty penny in one day.
Mm-hmm.
I hate everything about coins. I always have. I hate the smell of them. I hate the noise it makes in your pocket when you have change in your pocket. I hate everything about it. I think, and if Stugotz wants coins to be worth something, I got a way we could do it. Let's get rid of coins.
Guys, coins are worth something.
No, I'm saying
they literally are all worth something.
I'm telling you,
they're as good as money because they are money.
We're operating at a deficit. It costs more to make a penny.
Folks, I'm telling you, if we get rid of coins, if we come out, everything's $1. If you want to pay cash, it's $1. Okay? What in today's society, what costs less than $1? Why can't everything just be $1?
You're an agent for inflation.
I bought mustard the other day for 75 cents.
Get out of here.
I thought it was a great price. I was at
Where?
Target.
Exact.
It was the generic Target brand mustard, 75 cents. And here's the thing about yellow mustard. I'm not going to use it all that often.
Right.
So am I going to buy I don't
my
even
God.
know. Who
The cost per use, that is
75 cents for
Economico.
a buck, whatever it is, a tube of mustard.
If you're paying with a card, fine, charge me 75 cents. But if you want to pay cash, it's $1.
What about,
no
like-
more change? And I'm telling you, Billy says they're already worth something. If we cancel, if there was if Biden came out, change is done. All change would all of a sudden be worth more than
is
it
a
is.
terrible campaign slogan.
No more change.
Obama ran on
holding on to
change,
them.
and Biden is running on no
more
change.
change.
Yeah, what happened there?
I'm telling you that I would vote for him.
Okay, that's strange.
no more change
No
is
more
what you would vote
change is
for.
a
The
strange
no change.
platform. It's going to get co-opted.
Gets my vote. I mean,
It's honestly because of the noise it makes in my pocket more than anything.
That's what the other people say too. It's because of the noise they make.
Yeah.
No more change.
I don't like the smell of it.
I don't like the smell of them. No more
Chris,
change.
just stop talking.
I'm talking about the coins.
It is incredibly privileged. There are many people making minimum wage who are valuing every cent because they must value every
Even
cent.
they want dollars. I'm telling you.
I love change. What's wrong with you people? Change is awesome. I have a change jar next to my bed. I put it in. It counts the money going in.
you know what's great? It's a great feeling when you have amassed enough change in your car and you
super
can
heavy.
pay for like a Burger King drive-through meal. It's fantastic.
I just hate when I
Yes.
get home, I'm
Right.
like emptying my pockets, and I'm just like, what do I do with this 14 cents?
Okay, here's what you do. Dad, in his kitchen, has a big glass bowl.
Wild Bill?
No, me.
Oh.
I'm talking about the dressing Christopher.
A change bowl.
A change bowl.
Yes.
And it fills up, and then
Oh, it smells terrible, I bet.
Okay.
There's
You
always
could
like
not-
a
who
paper clip in
smells
there, random
coins?
screw.
You could not pay me to
What am
smell
I
that bowl.
smelling my coin bowl?
Exactly.
Twice a year, I bring it to Publix. They have
boy.
this thing that for a 10%
I
fee.
hate that.
Coinstar.
You're not
10%.
taking.
I don't
You're
like
not
the
taking.
fee.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
not
like the
taking a
fee.
You can
percentage
go to
of
the
my
bank.
Love
coins.
it.
You can go to the bank.
Yeah, no, but you have to count them yourself.
I
at the
used to
bank.
roll my
It's
own
sad.
coins.
It's sad
Oh,
walking into a
what a
bank.
satisfaction.
Dan just arrived in the United States of America. He's like, a 10% fee? Yes, Dan.
I was stunned by what Greg Cote just said. You can go to the bank and not have a 10% fee, or you could go to Publix and have a ridiculous gouging fee.
Okay,
Yeah,
my
10% is fair.
Greg Cote, my friend Priya, she has like
Nuts.
an entire closet full of coins in her apartment,
Yeah.
and
Rolls?
she doesn't know what to do with them because it weighs like 30 or 40 pounds. She's like,
Very
I don't know what
heavy.
to do with this.
Yeah.
If you take it to the bank, you have to do it yourself. They give you the papers. You could get one of those coin counter thingies, and it'll
Right.
sort it all for you.
If
But
we-
those cost money too.
If we end change, that will be worth double. what
Dude,
she has.
to have that first of all, Priya's a millionaire and she doesn't even know it. Second of all, a closet full of coins? What?
It's a lot of change.
That's a lot of coins.
Is she storing it for like a rainy day? Does she think the economy's going to collapse?
I think they're just been too lazy to do the actual like act of getting it counted and taking it to the bank. So it's just been accumulating and accumulating and accumulating for decades.
But that coin counter machine, you get one of those and then you could play Scarface. That and it just starts counting the money. Push it to the limit.
Nobody's with me on the smell. Huh?
Then they have the fun ones that you
like
see
the
and you're like,
smell.
where's it going to go? What is that?
Christopher, you've always been weird.
If I have like my hand full of change and then like I give it away, that leftover change smell is, I just hate it.
When Christopher first
Copper,
started
the penny's the
driving,
worst.
when Christopher's like 16 years old and he first started driving, all of a sudden I'd be walking in my front yard and I'd notice there were pennies and nickels and
true.
dimes all over the driveway.
You're lying. That's not
you
true.
used to
Throw
coins on the driveway.
Wow.
Spoiled.
This is a big moment. This is a big moment.
You know I'm
Called
anti-change.
out.
I'm
Are
anti-change.
you denying you did that?
I'm denying that I ever just littered our driveway with coins.
I wish I'd have taken
Maybe
a
at
photo.
McDonald's, if they hand me 2 pennies, I'm like, get the out of here.
There you go.
What?
There you go.
I mean, hold on
No,
a
I
second.
drop
The
it-
case is, hold
I
on,
always
it's
put it
building
into
up
the
against you.
bin.
Anti-change, so is obviously something that an anti-change person would do, would just throw their change in their parents' front yard, and then you're admitting to doing it at McDonald's.
I've never done it at my parents' house.
Jesus.
You literally just said, I've never done this, and then 5 seconds later,
No,
you
I
did.
said I
I've
never
done
did it. I said
this.
I've never done it at my dad's
Yeah.
driveway.
I
And-
agree with you on the smell.
Your Honor,
Nasty.
at the behest of my
smells
client,
coins?
I'm going to ask him to stop talking.
Imagine OJ. He's in court.
Another
he's like,
voice.
At murder? At my house? Not at my house. Never done it at McDonald's. Now that's a different story.
There was one moment
He
where I
was
was
at
like,
McDonald's that night.
I kind of miss OJ, and it was when Scheffler got arrested. I was like, I would have liked to have seen this Twitter reaction video.
Hello, Twitter world.
Hello, Twitter world.
You know, it's me, yours truly. You know, sometimes law enforcement gets very overzealous, and I don't know why.
I think Scottie overreacted.
Is that Doc Rivers?
No. Hello, yours truly. This is O.J. Simpson. Doc Rivers is like this.
The overhit.
We have a little bit of a situation that I discovered a couple weeks ago on Mystery Crate that we may need to address right now. Mike just now was looking for a pair of sunglasses that he had.
Yeah, what happened to those? Because I had a pair of Pit Vipers here. They were my pair of sunglasses in case the lights were ever bothering me, and they've been missing for weeks, and no one. Yeah. I just assumed either someone swiped them or threw them away.
To be clear, the Pit Vipers, are these the wraparound, I have a dog in my bio type of sunglasses?
Yeah, the ones that are really in style now.
Come with American flag.
Looks like you want to play volleyball in the early 90s.
Maybe say my pronouns are up yours or something like that.
I think you're taking this way too far. They're just cool sunglasses.
They are cool. I didn't say they're not cool. I'm just kind of trying to clarify.
Would vote for no
What
change.
the hell happened to my sunglasses?
Amin, you're going to love this. Let's watch this clip.
Can we talk about something privately?
We got 20 seconds.
It happened the other day off air. Mike was really mad because his Pit Viper glasses were missing.
Oh, no. We can't talk about this.
Oh, do you know what happened to them?
Oh, please talk
No.
about it.
I don't know about this.
What happened to them?
Hurry up, you guys. I don't want to get her in trouble, but Willow attacked them, so I had to throw them away.
Oh, we said it.
We'll be back.
Oops. That doesn't sound like her. How dare you accuse Willow?
found him on the floor when. Oh, that? Me neither. He was so mad. He's like, "There's thieves around here," and I'm like, "I don't want to put Willow in a bad spot," but I saw her eating them on the floor one day, so I tossed them.
Would have been the last time
It
we
was
saw
like
Willow.
it was like
Mike
it was
is
like
such a
2
big
mo-
fan,
Incinerator.
too.
It was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, he was a fan.
Incinerator.
Whoops.
I didn't say anything because I
That's a rotten thing to do. Wow. That's a really rotten
By
thing
me?
to do. No, just to not say it.
Willow
I
ate
think
your
that the
glasses.
nice gesture is, hey, Willow accidentally ate your sunglasses. Here's a new pair of Pit Vipers. That'd be the right thing.
Not a new pair. You would have been fine with the news, though.
Yeah, they
I
were
would have
used.
been hide
Right.
it from me.
Right.
I mean, I said it out loud, and everyone just I feel like an asshole. I fucking said it out loud, and everyone just ignored me. And you all kept this cute little secret for Mystery Crate. Fuck
We were
off.
waiting for the reveal on the show.
No,
Everything
I
is
want
content.
All I want is my fucking sunglasses.
You know who should feel like an asshole? Everybody in here who's been like, oh, the dog is here. Oh, my God, dogs make everything better. Oh, my God, I wish we had dogs here every day. The dogs here every day would make everything better.
Oh my gosh! Look, they're so well behaved. Oh, look at the dog is so well. What? Can we have another dog?
Are
Can
you
we bring
doing
another
a
dog here?
wicked? Is
Take
that a
your
wicked,
victory lap, Amin.
Is that a wicked witch you're doing?
That's called the asshole who's right.
I thought it was Mickey Mouse.
All right, who's pulling together some money for? Why don't you get some of that change?
Yeah.
And give me
Big
some
winner.
sunglasses.
Mike, I will buy you a new pair of pit vipers.
They have all
I'm
my
sorry
change.
on Willow's behalf that she ate your
I'm
sunglasses.
not mad at Willow.
You should be.
At all.
You should be.
I'm mad at everybody here that just kept
For
this
not telling
charade
them.
going
Yes.
on. Like I would have.
We meant to play it for you the next day, but we haven't been scheduled on the same day for 3 weeks.
That's a very mean thing
true.
to do to somebody. That's
It's-
property.
You know what it is, Mike? It's the kind of disregard that people have when they think they can just bring a herd of animals into a studio.
You know, that was my first COVID impulse buy. It was the first
A herd of
targeted
animals?
IG ad that worked on me during the pandemic. Those pit vipers.
And that shirt was the second, right?
This one, no, this is one of the more recent ones.
There are a number of appalling things that have been discovered over the course of this segment. The idea that we just skipped past Chris Cote throwing away money and littering. Like the combination,
driveway.
the
Yeah.
combination
Not the
of
driveway.
well, you claim it's not the driveway, but I tend to believe whenever your father, look at your father's face right now. Whenever he becomes indignant with a memory, and he's sitting here saying to you, "I wish I'd taken photographs," but your father is insulted as a hardworking man who descended from Wild Bill Cote. He does not like the idea of just change being thrown as litter in his driveway. He wouldn't make that up.
No,
I think he's misremembering.
No, I'm not, and I picked up the coins.
Of course,
No,
money for you.
Yes, I
yeah,
did. And
right.
put them in my
Taylor.
coin jar.
Brought them to Publix.
Damn right.
Yep.
Chris, how would he know about coins being tossed from the window if it hadn't happened in the driveway?
No, because he knows that I used to have a thing with change where I wouldn't want it.
How did, had he ever witnessed you take a coin and throw it out the window?
Not at home. I think.
But
I'm
he
telling you,
has-
I think
At
it's
home.
happened at a drive-through before.
He's been
That's
in a
where he's
drive-thru
seen it's
with
happened.
you?
Yeah.
Who throws away coins?
That's-
You put them in your
does?
pocket.
Who does? And who claims that
won?
that an
Who eats
old man
sunglasses?
would be misremembering something in a segment about him putting the gloves
That's
on the
true.
wrong hand?
Thank you.
Steal a fine bucket?
Thank you. Willow.
I don't know if because it's, as Billy calls it, an erection year, this is getting worse, what I'm about to say, than it has been. But I spend an inordinate amount of time in my day deleting email that is just an endless array of political junk that I've never signed up for, that it feels like someone has hacked my accounts and I'm being sent a bunch of stuff I don't care about. Mike mentioned
Willow.
A Trump coin earlier. An email I am now getting endlessly that we're going to put up on the video screen that I had not seen until it started inundating my email box is this Trumpinator bobblehead that is being sold because Trump at this point is trying to pay attorneys. And I'm assuming these attorneys want their money up front because he doesn't pay for everything. So he's got to get a bunch of different ways to sell a bunch of different crap. Is this happening to you guys? Are you guys getting, I'm not talking about the text spam that we're all getting. We're all getting a ton of everyone's got our cell phone number and you're getting a bunch of political on your phone. But are the rest of you getting, no, I'm not lying. I mean, it might not even be dozens. I'm talking about, I might have to go through 100 of these a day where I'm just killing and I'm unsubscribing from it, and it doesn't do anything to actually kill it.
They always find a different angle, a different way to send it to you. Yeah, I'm getting emails for the Trump Bible.
Huh.
Is this happening to the rest of you?
I'm getting the text.
The spam text, the spam calls, the spam email. I get everything.
How many
I'm on some
bobbleheads did you
list.
buy?
I'm more interested in the risk management masters. That guy looks like he knows what he's talking about.
Is this happening to you, Greg?
It is not. No, I must say. I get a lot of political things because in the past, my wife and myself, mostly my wife, have donated to an unnamed political party. And so we get a lot of stuff asking for more money and more money and more money. But I have never yet been offered a bobblehead doll.
Rent is too damn high, party?
Exactly.
Somebody did this to me. I'm assuming that I'm getting this.
You're blaming someone else?
Yeah, I'm assuming that it's such
Are you a registered Republican?
100 a day is crazy.
If you're a registered, I'm still a registered Republican, so I get a bunch of text messages that I have to say variations of stop. Also, like I throw in an F word occasionally, depending on like what's in the news.
Are you also anti-change?
I am anti-change. Like the coin. Seriously, if there was a politician, even if he were a Republican, that said, "Hey, no more change," I'm like, let's hear this guy out.
Thank you. I had someone.
If Aaron Rodgers became the VP and his whole big idea that he brought to the ticket was no change, I'm like, all right, I'm listening.
I had someone use my email one
Not
time.
for long.
Not for long. And that guy sounds weird. The president, he just like his voice sounds weird. This is a healthy option.
They signed me up for athletic department updates. And I can't unsubscribe. It's
That was
just
mine.
constantly happening over and over again.
that.
I feel like you need to have some sort of verification. You can't just blindly give out people's emails.
Well, maybe next time tell me where my sunglasses are.
By the
If
way,
you listen to Mystery Crate, you would have known a few weeks ago.
somebody, I don't know who, has gotten a hold of our like internal email, the list, because I would get these emails from people, and I'm just like, well, how did you get my email? Like, hey, do you want more followers on TikTok? Like, why are you emailing me?
I get emails for you all the time. Do you guys get emails for Oddball?
For Oddball all the time.
All the time. And it's like, Mr. Amin, you should sign up for this thing. And I'm like,
Triple
it's not my
your
email.
followers.
Chris, one of our production people has put in the Slack something from Oddball and Amin that is being alleged incriminates Amin on the Drew Holiday take that he's been trying to offer context to all show. Let's get that video to see what it proves or what it doesn't prove, and we're going to get to Against the Spread in a second. But before we do that, I'd just like to get Greg Cote's thoughts on Lexi Thompson retiring from golf at the age of 29, citing mental health concerns. There is a thing happening in sports now, and I associate it as being led by DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Love speaking freely and openly about mental health. But something is happening in sports right now where people of an age, some of them are like, no, stress level's not reasonable. I don't want to work and live under these conditions. I've made enough money. I had a good career. I'm out at 29 because this isn't healthy. The obsessive compulsive way I have to live doing this thing doesn't make me happy enough. I have to go check in on my mental health.
I have to think that, pardon me, that when she reads that a PGA Tour golfer, Grayson Murray, about her age, commits suicide, and she's the same age, very good golfer, by the way. This is not a marginal player. 15-time winner in the prime of her career, quitting on top. And I give her immense credit because she's saying, I can't let myself get to where I'm Grayson Murray, to where the mental challenges and the mental weight on my mind.
We don't know. There are a lot of things that go into taking one's life. We don't know how severe her mental health issues are, but she's doing something in her 20s that not a lot of people have done in order to have her mental health protected.
And she has been very open and out front about mental health challenges, and she even took several months off, I think it was a year or two ago, to address this. So I'm not saying that she's ever had suicidal thoughts, but she has been very open about the mental challenges and the stress and all that, and the fact that she's taking a very dramatic way to deal with it and to put her mental health first, I think is enormously important and a good lesson for other athletes and non-athletes to consider.
She's won a major. She's been number one in the world. I always go to, Dan, with tennis players and golf players, the loneliness of that sport. Because just getting to the LPGA Tour, swimmers as well, yeah, they don't really hang around with friends. It's them alone on a golf course or a tennis court or in a swimming pool, left to their own devices, not really communicating with many, many people other than their families. And I always wonder just how lonely of an existence that actually is.
Yeah, I thought of Ash Barty retiring in tennis recently. She's only 28 years old now. And Lexi Thompson went pro when she was really, really young. And so she's had this entire career in the spotlight from just before she was even a teenager. I think she qualified for the U.S. Open when she was 12. So I can imagine that her career has been she's been under a microscope from a very early age. Even like the one tournament where she was playing really well, and a fan called in and said that she had taken the wrong stroke on a penalty, like that sort of like super under a microscope type of thing with golfers that I think you can tell like she just really needs a break.
There were massive expectations. She was supposed to be what Nelly Corda is, and she never developed into that, but she still had a wonderful career. She won a major, and she won over $14 million.
I always wonder, though, because we don't really understand how these people have to be built to get to maximum success. I know a lot of people complain about, well, Karl Anthony Towns is complaining about every call. And I'm like, well, he cares deeply about having success in his career. And if you were undermined in your line of work by something, you might be upset too. The way that you have to care in order to be this kind of golfer and beat other golfers who care like that is so obsessive that I would say sports are a mental health challenge. Getting to the top of sports is more mentally health challenging than a great many things in a great many workplaces, because you have to beat other people for money, for livelihood, for greatness, and you've been trained as a child to compete against other robots who have been molded to get to the top of the country club through all of the competition of all of the people trying to get to the top of the country club. I think all of it is challenging in ways we don't understand when we bark into microphones criticizing that Bobrovsky needs to stop allowing so many rebounds.
On ice.
Like, he's on ice. There's 70 guys standing in front of him. The puck is coming 112 miles an hour. Don't allow a rebound, Bob. Mike Ryan is a mental health challenge, and this environment steals his stuff and challenges him mentally.
That's right, it's time for Against the Spread. And it is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear about all DraftKings has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Billy, kick us off.
Last week on Against the Spread, I took the Panthers -1.5.
You were
Game
mocked.
1 against the Rangers, I was mocked. I was laughed at. People said, what a buffoon that man is. He doesn't know puck. Talks about rhinos wearing skates with sandals on the ice. What a silly. And it covered. This week, I'm going to go with the Rangers +1.5 tomorrow night against the Panthers. I'm not saying the Rangers are necessarily going to win, but this has been a tight series the entire time, and I think it's going to be hard for the Panthers to win by 2 goals again. And that's
Against the spread.
Against the spread.
No, I didn't like that pick.
So you're betting for a close game is what
I think that it's not going to be a 2-goal difference one way or the other. I think that that's what's going to end up happening.
Mike, who you got?
I'm going to take a game against the spread, even though I like them straight up. They're an underdog. You can lay the -190 on Kansas City to cover the 1.5, or you can take them straight up. I think this is a live dog. I like Seth Lugo. Kansas City's bullpen is crap. However, he carries games deep into the 7th, and Minnesota can't hit recently. So I'm going with Seth Lugo against the spread.
Stugotz, bring us home.
The Mavericks let the Timberwolves back into the series last night. Don't you dare let that get to a Game 6. It's going to get to a Game 6, though. Minnesota, -5 at home over the overrated Dallas Mavericks and Kyrie Irving. I have the Timberwolves -5 against the spread. Sorry, Chris.
The series price on that would suggest that the books think that they have about a 20% chance to win that series.
Yes.
The Royals are somehow good this year.
Baseball.
That's not a mirage.
Well,
It's a weird season. Also, I thought all the rule changes would bring about more offense, and we got like the worst league-wide average in several years. No one appears to be like super good outside of a handful of teams. Especially the NL is confusing to me. That's baseball talk, folks.
Yeah.
Stay with it. Stay with it.
I mean, I gave you some good stuff on that bullpen there.
That was real good.
Woo! That's all I got.
This has been a bit of a frustrating day with Amin because he's been coming in and out. He rushed in. He flew in because he didn't like the way that we had framed his Drew Holiday as a corpse analysis. And he's been coming in and out of the show aggressively, and he's left again. And I wanted to play this sound to him that wasn't when we caught him in the back of the car, angry and upset and lashing out at us. It's from his show, Oddball. It's every day except Monday. He does it with Charlotte Wilder. This is in a more composed state.
It's his show. He's in total control of what it is he says and how it gets edited. So I mean,
he called Drew Holiday a corpse on this show. Now he denies that we had the right context around what he was saying because corpse is somehow a compliment. And here he is on Oddball, and these are his true unemotional thoughts before Drew Holiday played a game for the Celtics on what Drew Holiday meant to the Celtics.
I was pretty tough on Joe Cronin last week. I said unless a lot of people forget this part, unless we see what happens with what they do with Drew Holiday, and they did some with Drew Holiday, and I'd be the first to say, look, man, I thought the Celtics way overpaid. And kudos to Joe Cronin and that Portland staff for getting value for Drew Holiday like that. 2 first-round picks. I thought Portland did great. From Boston's perspective, look, I'm consistent on this. I think a lot of people are excited about Drew Holiday because he's, number one, he was a great player at one point. He was an elite defensive player and a pretty good offensive player at one point. But I think that point is, we're past it.
Okay.
And people like scrapbooks. It's like when Carmelo Anthony went to the Lakers and when Carmelo Anthony went to the Blazers. Like, I'm not talking about Carmelo Anthony's career. I'm just telling you right now, Carmelo Anthony is not the guy that you saw in New York and in Denver. And the same thing here. I don't think this is the same Drew Holiday that we saw in New Orleans locking up Damian Lillard and in that playoff series. I think this is an older guy who I think he's still a very good defensive player, but he's not quite the defensive player he once was. And offensively, I don't think he's a great decision maker. And I thought that was something that the Celtics really needed. They needed a pure point guard, and they still don't have one of those.
Can I get a ruling from the group? Because Amin was in here all show today objecting to what it is that we were doing, and it sounds like that's what he was saying. He was questioning the Drew Holiday, giving up too much for Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm. Did he leave because he knew we had this clip?
Yeah. I think so, because when I tried to get him back in, he's like, we're doing something right here, right now.
Too long, didn't read.
I want to get to something that's happening in the UFL that I think people are going to like if the NFL added. But before we do that, Stugotz, I just want to show you a clip here. I want you to look at this video and tell me if you recognize this this photograph, if you recognize who this person is in the movie The Smashing Machine. Do you recognize the person who is acting like a fighter in that photograph?
I do not, but they are chiseled.
Okay, that is The Rock.
What?
In a lot of makeup, in makeup that makes him unrecognizable in The Smashing Machine. I've told you A24 is probably the best studio making stuff now, and The Rock is trying to reinvent himself as somebody who's got acting range and tackles things like depression. And so he's doing it in a character that you will not recognize when he's on screen. It's so much makeup that he doesn't look like The Rock anymore.
Benny Safdie is directing this. The Safdies have split up as a filmmaking duo, and he's been trying to get this movie. Remember the UFC event where you went out with Masvidal and The Rock was there?
Yeah.
He announced to the crowd back then that he was finally making this Mark Kerr movie, and it's been a real struggle for him to actually have it made. Emily Blunt's in the cast. This is The Rock fully going for it.
Right.
This is him really going for some serious praise for his acting chops, for some hardware. This is a career-defining role for him.
I don't want that from The Rock. I want The Rock to be The Rock. I want The Rock to jump from buildings and save the world. That's what I want.
I mean,
enough of the acting. Who cares?
A couple months ago, The Rock went back to being like The Rock from wrestling lore. So that was hopefully a moment that could kind of change. I mean, he had some box office duds, some critical duds, so he definitely needs an uptick, and maybe he's getting it with the UFL.
Hold on, we'll get there in a second.
He looks totally different, but he's still gonna sound like Maui.
By the way, that's coming out in 6 months.
What?
Yeah, Moana 2 coming out in 6 months.
I didn't know they were making a sequel.
Disney is really good at keeping the animated movies secret. It's unbelievable.
Wow, the Smashing Machine, huh?
Stugotz is grabbing the campaign slogan of Chris Cote as it regards
No more change.
The Rock. No more change. Rock, I need you to be The Rock. Okay? I don't need you to try and be something that's softer than a rock. I just need you to be what I know to be The Rock.
I'm laughing because the Smashing Machine was my nickname in college.
Yeah,
people used to call me that. I swear, and it made me smile thinking of it.
It was
same, damn.
So much fun to watch in the studio the wordless lighting of the fuse by Jessica and Mike trying to get that joke to Greg Cote and seeing on his face that he wanted to reject it even though it was a good joke.
Well, he rejected my is hard joke from earlier in the show.
I was about to say, you should have seen what they wanted me to say regarding stiff person syndrome. Ridiculous. You got to draw the line somewhere.
Think about how funny you're trailing, like you're fading down with him on the couch and him just going, my dick is hard.
It would have smashed. Like Greg in college.
He was too slow. I saw that happening out there with him on the therapy couch where, honest to God, it was Chris Cote and Mike Ryan, and they were third base coaches waving someone home, trying to get Greg Cote to speak, and Greg Cote simply refused to say.
Stopping on third.
Just stopped. He just stopped right on third and took a on the bag.
Damn right.
Like, it's not just that he stopped on third. He squatted over, but that was a very good joke. You in high school as the Smashing Machine.
College.
When you were the 25-year-old Richard Gere.
That's a fine.
When you were the 25-year-old American Gigolo.
Right.
The UFL, Stugotz. Mike Ryan is the only one around here interested in it. Mike Ryan has just been collecting an assortment of fringe sports.
Yeah. Well, that's very mean to NASCAR. Super. It's going to be on Prime next year.
It's not just.
They made a terrible decision.
It's
with
not
Coca-Cola.
NASCAR. It's all of it. Yeah. You are just collecting.
Well, I'm the voice of the voiceless, Dan. Like, you guys over here, you pay attention to 3 sports and you call it a day. You know, someone's got to pay attention to all these other things.
Right.
Also, you're going to know that Seth Lugo is a really good pitcher that sometimes takes games into the 7th inning, and Kansas City's bullpen is kind of weak, so it's a real commodity. Seth Lugo. There you go. Right. There's your Kansas City Royals talk for the day. You're welcome. I pay attention to lose hundreds so you don't have to.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And the rule changes. You're
quite the sacrifice.
If all these alternative leagues just exist to make the NFL slightly better because they're trying things that the NFL can adopt, I can support all of these alternative leagues.
Well, I do have a bone to pick with the UFL, primarily because it's the UFL and not the XFL. That is where my brand loyalty lies. Now, I'm very happy that the XFL defeated the USFL overall head-to-head matchups. We're entering the final week of the season. And another bone that I have to pick with the UFL is the NFL adopted the XFL kickoff rule. You know who does not have the XFL kickoff rule? The UFL. What? No sense. Zero
That's
sense.
Insane.
0 cents. But here are 2 other things that are going down in this sport that I think the NFL should steal. Number 1, and I think Stugotz would love this, the Super Challenge.
Oh, wow.
It is a one-time challenge in which you can challenge literally anything. If you think the head official missed a holding call on what could have been a big play, you can challenge whether or not that official missed a call.
It's a good rule.
Amazing.
You don't even have to explain
One time per game?
Something called the Super Challenge. Stugotz is in.
Yes. Is there a different flag for it? I mean,
I've actually only seen the.
There should be.
I caught like the Super Challenge once while Blandino. That's another thing. Is part of the the strategy as well. Let's see what Blandino does with this. Just give him a file to look for something, and he'll come back with something.
The super flag is a red flag, but it's on a pole, and you have to wave it from the sideline.
Gotta be smarter than that.
That name will always be funny to us, right?
Blandino?
Yes.
Yeah, and the other thing is the
name.
2 worst teams in the league are actually playing this week, and the UFL has decided the winner of that game gets the higher draft pick. The winner, not the loser, will be rewarded with the top pick in the draft and the top pick in every round.
Good.
We have to market to the times and the fact that it's an important political year. That super flag has to be somebody wrapped in the American flag. Just maximum patriotism is at any point
That's the USAFL, Dan.
That's it. That's what we need to do. Jessica, I want to include you in the conversation that Stugotz and I just had off air with Greg Cote. Do you want to tell Jessica what it is that you told us? Because I think she will find this funny. I didn't see this.
Amazing.
I didn't see this register on your face when they were lighting the fuse that was that joke to get to the explosion at your microphone.
Well, one of the reasons why I was resisting, like you came at me a couple of times and said smashing machine, and Mike finally did, and so I'm like, okay, I'll say it. I honestly didn't know what it meant.
Oh God!
Like I thought it had something to do with boxing because we were talking about what's his name, The Rock. I don't think of myself as being naive, but I just, in the context of a boxing movie, I thought that meant
sweet naive man.
What are the ways you've said "make love" over the years?
Baby.
Do you have like
That's
words
the main one.
that you'd replace with smashing or something? Like, how did you say it back in your day?
Whoopee.
Whoopee. What did I say? No, I mean, come on.
I said that in your ear.
Oh, okay.
You're trying to get him to say the fucking machine.
I mean,
He has no idea what's happening
I mean,
here.
the F word is a classic. I mean, that's, that spans the generations.
Greg, I do find it just simply staggering that you still don't know when someone's talking in your ear and when they're talking on the air, and you're having private conversations with people that cannot be heard by the audience.
Yeah, that's correct.
Juju, this is one of the things that you have loved about the show over the years, all of the things that happened with Greg Cote. What are the criticisms that are coming in today on what it is that we did?
First of all, salute. Good to see y'all beautiful brothers and sisters today. Much love to everybody involved. John 3:16, that can't be his real name, says, "You can't pay Chris to smell his dad's change bowl. I beg to differ." And I would like to beg to differ as well. I could pay you something to smell that bowl, bro.
That's gross, man. I mean, you're right. You could pay me.
I'll give you 5.
I have a number.
I'm going to bring it in next week. We'll do that live on the air.
God, that is my nightmare, though. I just hate that.
Is there a number in that bowl? Like if he were to give you an amount from that bowl, the smelly bowl, is it something that would make it worth your time?
I probably need more than there's in that bowl.
Is it weird, Juju? Do you think it is weird that Chris Cote has this issue with smelling change? It's not an allergy or an aversion I was expecting to hear about today.
Nah, I think he just got an allergy to just wanting to disagree with his damn daddy every week. Like, it ain't even about the change. It's just he want to disagree with his daddy, so he going to stand stern. If apple don't fall from the tree, you always say the most stubborn person you know is Greg Cote. And might I introduce you to young Christopher C. Cote?
Okay.
I can't argue with this.
Fair enough. He's becoming his dad as we speak. They also called Chris Cote the smashing machine in college as well.
Did they?
Smash Wendy's.
What else do you have there, Juju?
This is a note from me, just tying the loop on Stugotz. I saw Stugotz there. I wish I would have got this earlier. He says that he's rooting for Aaron Rodgers, but he says Kyrie Irving is a failure. And I feel like if you put Kyrie Irving's rings in the box and you put Aaron Rodgers' rings in the box, it's going to come out snake eyes. You feel me? So it's a lot. It's hilarious what we decide to show grace in the world, but neither here nor there.
It is both here and there, and I appreciate that you pointed out that discrepancy because Stugotz has spent a couple of days here at what should be a pretty magical time for Kyrie Irving after whatever it is you think of him. Have to have been a couple of difficult years for Kyrie Irving. Like, to poop on him now, you're going out of your way to deny the excellence of what it is you're watching because there's not anything in his behavior now right, that would warrant going after him that way.
You had all year to get it done. What have you done for me lately? Andrew R. on Twitter says, I'd rather hear Amin's bad, hot NBA takes than Mike Ryan trying too hard to embrace fringe sports. That's a little bit rude. But I use that as a segue to the brother Amin El Hassan. See, I be telling y'all, if y'all want y'all information on NBA and all things NBA, y'all should come to the kid. Video team has a tape and some footage of something that I feel like y'all might be excited to see. clip this whenever for the end of the year.
Yeah, man. You could put on wax, man. You could put on wax. I think this is a terrible deal for Boston.
Oh,
really?
I think this is a terrible deal for Boston.
I feel bad for Malcolm.
You got that much faith in Rob Williams?
Oh my God, that
clip comes courtesy of the Bomb podcast with Trayvon Edwards. Salute Tom Haberstroh. But yes, sir. Like, come on, man. That's y'all expert. That's y'all king. Oh no, look. The alarm's going off now.
Okay.
What are Kowinki doing?
Yes, you are incriminating Amin El-Hassan.
Hope everything's okay over there.
That is as bad a clip as we can use to make Amin El-Hassan ashamed. He just said it was a terrible deal. Like, that's irrefutable right there. We have conclusion. He flew in today in order to refute this, and
did all the voices.
And how many voices?
That was
did
over.
He do
Way
today?
over.
He hit the over.
I'm telling you, when y'all think of NBA, think of me. I know everybody got a podcast. Oddball with Charlotte. I get it. Everybody's an expert. But I'm just saying, when you think of experts, don't forget about the kid, because I've been telling you a lot of the stuff that's been in front of these cameras, in front of these takes from these high-paid people, J.J. Redick's of the world, Pat McAfee's of the world, your boys. That's your man. And so, hey, put some respect on my name soon. I will request it. Also, listen to the Alley-Oop after post-game show. I had Zach Harper on there talking good. Claire and my dog Josh Smith. We talking good sports after these NBA playoff games, man. Lock in. And everybody's always invited, but I know y'all go to sleep at 6 p.m., so I don't respect
That's
y'all.
true. Salute to you, Juju. Before you go, your Atlanta Dream are playing the Mystics tonight. Are the Mystics going to get their first win of the season?
Before we get to that, last night, Caitlin Clark went crazy in the loss. And you know, I feel like, well, I'm going to answer my sister. Man, I don't like to do that. I don't like to predict L's. And you know what I mean? It's a lot of sisters in Washington trying their best, man. I'm always riding with my dream. But I don't have any faith in the Washington Mystics, especially without B Psycho on the team. Excuse me, B Sykes, Brittany Sykes. She's the motor to that team. And without her and a couple of key injuries, I know Steffi Dosen and Van Loo, she's been stepping up as well for the Washington Mystics as a guard. She's a sharpshooter, but I think that the Atlanta Dream going to have a little bit more for them than they planned. Also, Shakira Austin is questionable as well too. So their whole team is going through a bit of injuries. With and Elena Delle Donne sitting out the whole year, so they got a rebuilding year in Washington.
I want to respect what it is that you are wishing for us to put some respect on your name as it regards the basketball analysis. So go ahead and give us whatever it is you wanted to say there about Caitlin Clark before you respected Jessica's question, and also give me your thoughts on something we did not talk about enough today, which is Dallas and Minnesota, that game last night. We didn't cover it very much today.
Right. It was awesome seeing every now and then glimpses of Rudy getting to give it back to Luka. Every now and then Luka be switched on Rudy in the post, and he like, yes, sir. You see what happens when it's the other way around. You're not just going to be screaming at me. And I think that was the first game that the tandem of Kyrie and Luka struggle out of all these games. And if they're going to struggle, and Ant-Man, finally, welcome to the league. Welcome to understanding how tall you are. Welcome to being 7 feet tall. Yes, take the ball to the hole. My only criticism with Cat is he picks up his dribble around the three-point line and then takes his two gathers. If he took one more dribble within that perimeter and took his gather from around the free throw line extended, I think that he could add the deceleration into his game. He could get more fouls or just dunk because he's that tall. So I think the emergence and waking up of Cat could prove dangerous to the Mavericks, because I know we all say that they're going to play the Celtics, but whoa, not so fast. You did me.
Well, he finally made some shots at the end of that game. They needed all of them. They needed everything he was doing. Like he was historically awful from three for the last 5 games, and he saved their season last night while doing dumb shit, fouling people.
Right. And, of course, like I say, Caitlin and the W, I know we got to get out of here, but Caitlin and the W, dog, everybody in the league, like I said the other day, it's showtime. It's LeBron coming to your town. She's on tour. Every single city she stops in, they're trying to embarrass and ruin her. But guess what? Sis is finding her groove now. Sis is putting these pieces together where I don't think necessarily it's on her growth anymore. some of the coaching decisions, some of the rotations, some of the, you know what I mean? It's happening right now. And salute the big Timmy Fagnelli. She has been. Like, oh my God, she has been a godsend. Like that sister right there is playing her way into the All-Star conversation, in my opinion. You did me.
Do you dig him, Greg?
I do. I always have.
The smashing machine
Thank you,
digs
brother.
you, Juju. Thank
you.
Hold
on, before we get out of here. Before we get out of here. Also, the last note I have, a lot of screaming and cussing at each other today on the show. A lot of Pit Viper glasses went missing. We called each other F words. A lot of amino acid cussing at each other. I seem to remember someone got in trouble for that, not to point any elbows. So I think that everybody needs to get in some anger management and get the help that they deserve.
Okay. Thank you, Juju.
Those pit vipers are fucking expensive, too.